Chapter 13, Part 2. Miss Minton was behaving oddly. She had taken no steps to follow the twins and had prevented Sergei from doing so. Instead, she was watching Maya, who was pretending to enjoy the party and not making a good job of it. Maya's colour was high. She was obviously upset, but Miss Minton did not go to her. She just watched. She had been watching now for several days. The children were not dancing any longer. They were falling on the food. Maya did her best to eat. She had never seen such exotic dishes, but she could hardly swallow anything. What was happening in the museum? Sergei had interrupted the twins before she could tell them about the trapdoor under the sloth. Poor Sergei had only wanted to help and protect her, and who now looked at her, angry and bewildered, was not enjoying his own party as he should. What was happening? Had they found Clovis yet? In the entrance hall there was a disturbance. One of the maids was arguing with two grim-faced, black-clad men who now pushed her aside. "We want the pigtail girl who lives with the Carters. Maya, she's called." They opened the door to various rooms while the servants tried to stop them, then the door of the dining room. The only pigtail girl was a very small blonde, sitting on the lap of the governess that she could reach the table. Maya sat bent over her plate. She had arranged her loose hair so as to partly hide her face, but that didn't help her. The crows knew her at once. "That's her, over there. You girl, you're to come with us." "No." Maya had risen and was holding onto the side of the table. "If you don't, we'll have to use force." Sergei got to his feet, prepared to do battle. Then a bony hand descended on Maya's shoulder. "I think you had best go with these gentlemen and tell them what they want you to know," said Miss Minton. She turned to the crows. "I shall, of course, accompany her." "No, Minty, please. I can manage by myself," cried Maya. "You must let me be the best judge of that. Come along now, Maya," replied Miss Minton. By the time they got to the museum, Maya did not have to act her panic. There was no chance to explain anything to her governess. If Miss Minton told the crows that Clovis was not Finn Taverner, all her work would be undone. If only there was a moment to explain before the trapdoor was opened, but there wasn't. "Right. Now, where's the boy?" Maya was acting again. "Don't make me tell you, please. He's my friend, and he begged me not to let you take him back." Miss Minton said nothing. She looked grimmer than Maya had ever seen her. There was no help to be expected there. "Look, we've got no time to waste, and we've got a gun." Mr. Trapwood patted his chest. "Shoot me then," said Maya. "You can shoot me before I betray." "That's enough, Maya. You're being hysterical. Tell these gentlemen what they want to know, and then we shall go home," snapped Miss Minton. "I don't want Finn to—" "Finn? Is that his name?" said Trapwood. "Yes, that sounds right. The letter was signed F. Taverner. Come on, then." "He's in the cellar." Maya's voice was very quiet. She turned her head away. "Where's that? How do you get down there?" "There's a trapdoor. It's under the giant sloth. The skeleton. It's in the lab." The crowds barged ahead, holding Maya by the arm, and Miss Minton followed. Still no chance to warn her governess. They reached the sloth. "There, look, you can see the handle," said Mr. Lowe. Mr. Trapwood pushed him aside and caught the edge of the stand with his arm. The sloth crashed to the ground. Miss Minton and Maya cried out, seeing the jumbled bones. "There it is. Come on. Heave!" Mr. Trapwood heaved. The door creaked slowly upwards, and out of the dark hole there sprang not a cowering, frightening boy, but a furious, thrashing boy. A boy with black hair and a headband who charged at the two men, shouting and jabbering in an Indian dialect. The crows tried to grab his arm and missed. The Indian boy ran past Mr. Lowe, but was tripped up by Mr. Trapwood and stumbled, cursing in his strange babble, screaming like a trapped animal. Maya gave a moan of despair, and he stood there, her hand over her mouth. What was Finn doing here? What had gone so terribly wrong? And where was Clovis? The crows wrestled with Finn. 2 to 1, a gun against bare fists, but as they fought the boy, trying to pinion him, they were aghast. So this was the heir to Westwood, a savage, babbling away in an unearthly tongue. No wonder he had been afraid to take up his rightful place in England. He probably lived in a tree. Maya's eyes never left Finn. He was still hoping to escape, she could see that. If he could get out into the street, he might have a chance, but not here. He fought like a demon. Once he managed to free himself, then Mr. Lowe caught his lead while Mr. Trapwood hit him on the side of the head with the butt of his pistol. Now, boy, we're not here to hurt you." But the wild boy did not understand. He went on struggling and fighting and shouting in his ghastly tongue. They'd have to tie him up to get him on the boat. And what would Sir Aubrey say if there ever was a hollow victory? This was it. Miss Minton, all this time, had been standing stock still, looking at the Indian boy with a strange expression on her face. Now she walked carefully to the edge of the open trapdoor and looked down the flight of steps leading into the darkness. Miss Minton waited. She was staring intently into the back of the cellar with a pile of packing cases. Then she said, loudly and clearly, "Come out, Finn Taverner. Come out and be a man. Among the packing cases something stirred. A glimmer of light fell on fair hair. The boy straightened himself and stood up. Miss Minton continued to stare down into the murk. You heard me, Finn, she said, and the crows turned amazed. The mantle of the taverners has fallen on your shoulders. It's time you faced your destiny. Clovis looked up and saw the upright figure of Miss Minton standing above him. She had always made him feel brave, and now he forgot an hour before he had not been overcome with terror and begged Finn not to give him up to the crows. Clovis straightened himself. He squared his shoulders, he tossed back his curls, then slowly, with immense dignity, he climbed the cellar stairs. Unhand my servant, please, he ordered the crows. As you can see, I am Finn Taverner. The crows let go of the Indian. They stared at the golden-haired youth who had been appearing at the top of the cellar steps. The boy's breeding showed in every movement. He was an undoubted and true aristocrat. Here before them was the blood which Sir Aubrey longed for, and they were filled with joy. The boy now addressed his servant. You have served me well, Kimari, he said, and every word was crystal clear. The words of a perfect English gentleman speaking slowly to a foreigner. Now I give you my freedom. Now I give you your freedom. And with it, this token of my thanks. And out of the pocket of his tunic he took a watch on a long chain, which he handed to the Indian. But sir, said Mr. Trapwood, who had seen the glint of silver, should you... I am a taverner, said Clovis, and no one shall say that I am not grateful to those who have served me. And now, gentlemen, I am ready. I take it you have reserved a first-class cabin for me? Well, began Mr. Lowe. Mr. Trapwood shook his chin. It shall be arranged, sir, he said, and everything will be taken care of. Good. I should like to go on board immediately, said Clovis. Yes, sir, of course, if you'll just come with us. Clovis bowed to Miss Minton, then to Mayor. His eyes were dry, and his dignity was matchless. Then he followed the crows out of the museum.